Howdy everybody, this is Mr. E. I wanted to do a little video. For one thing, if this is your first time coming to this channel, thanks for coming. If you're coming back, thanks for coming back. And I just wanted to touch base with you a little bit. We've got a lot of things going on. We're going to be traveling a little bit, and we're going to be doing some recordings of our travels. So, and what we're creating, because we're not buying the 4D stuff anymore. It's like gone. So we're going to create cities of light and go into that listening, more of a fifth dimensional consciousness journey, connection with your higher self. And so I kind of want to talk about that, because that's last year it was all about clearing. Just actually most of my life just clearing, recapitulation journey, and it took a long time, and it cleared a lot. And now I'm able to see clearer, and I'm seeing all sorts of different things. So it's getting quite interesting. And so there is something to clearing, because we've got all. What I mean by clearing is we've got all these past life circumstances and events that happen in our lives. Some of them may have caused some trauma, and that could leave some what do you call it? I forget what you call it. My template's been wiped so many times I can't think straight anymore, because we're jumping through realities, quantum. Well, we used to call it quantum leaping. Now we're just going through stargates and teleportation at this point. So, and it's all has to do with your light body. So you have to start building that, and to do that, you have to build a relationship with what the Toltecs would call the dreamer, which is your higher self, and you have to start building a relationship with it. You actually build the dreamer. You dream the dreamer. So. And it all starts with how you have to start listening. It's all in the listening. So what we listen to all the time is what we actually create. This is just a reflection. We're living in a bubble. You're living in a bubble. You are a universe. And you're living in a bubble, and whatever you create is your reflection on the outside world. And see, we're still seeing planet Earth, but it's literally, the Earth is already ascended. It's like in 12D, and us humans, we got to catch up. So it's like that, and it takes quite a bit of work to clear these past distortions, because whatever the Earth had, what kind of distortions she had, we have them too, because we're here. So there's a few things, and I don't like to talk about a few things, but one of the things I did mostly was recapitulation. That's when you'll start noticing belief systems and patterns that keep happening in your life, and you can clear those. You can get rid of them. It's almost like time travel, because you can actually, once you start affecting the present now, so there is no time in the higher dimensions. So once you start affecting things now, it actually can change your past, and you'll be able to, if you start being aware of it, you'll be able to hear subtle messages. You'll be able to see when your higher self is communicating to you in the past. These subtle things, like feeling like a need, a want, urge, or something. Those are all a sense of the higher self coming in, and saying something. And they're always subtle messages. They could be even license plates or billboards or whatever. You just have to be aware of it, and not listen to all the mind control chatter. I know that stuff's going on or something, and it's horrible. But you know what? It's been going on for a long time. This is nothing new. Mind control's been going on for a long time. Look at the television set. If you look up the patent for the television set, it's literally a mind control. It's it's a mind control thing. So don't watch the TV. Just throw it away. I don't have any TVs here. We watch YouTube. We watch some people, certain frequencies. You got to be aware of the frequencies you're watching, and because we want to raise our frequency. We want to go into the higher dimensions, because then there is no, garbage that's happening. It's kind of nice, and why not? You deserve it. We all deserve it. Why don't we just create? You see, it's a multi-dimensional, multi-universal, it's a multiverse. So there's different universes and different. Every time you make a decision, it splits off into different realities. And if something keeps on going on this way, and something keeps going this way, where's your consciousness going? So we've got to ponder these things. And I think that the biggest tool that I found that to connect with the higher self, and it's not just me. I've read it in all sorts of big Edgar Tolle, Alan Watts. Oh, look, Scooch is with me. There's Commander Scooch. She is so. This little dog is so funny. I can't believe it. I can't hardly stand it. We're gonna get videos of the dogs because they're so funny. And then, but anyway, what we have to do to hone our listening is have to realize what we're actually listening to. So you might have to take 10, 15 minutes a day and just stop and see what your automatic listening is. We call it the already always listening. And inside that already always listening, you'll see that you have an almost probable, almost certain future as well. Because you keep on listening to that already always listening, it's almost probable and almost certain you're going to have the same happen to you in the future than that's happening right now or has happened in the past. So what we need to do is we need to stop that. It's called the stopping the world. So to do that, we need to go to silence. And once we get silent, miracles can happen. You can start hearing your higher self, and it's very subtle. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes they will come in and wake you up. The higher self doesn't care if you're going to get hurt if he comes in and blast you with high frequency, which is not always pleasant, but it is in the end, because you raise your frequency and vibration. And so and one of the things, like for instance, if you listen to that's why gossip is so horrible when you start gossiping about other people. They did this and they did that. Well, it changes the listening of other people about that person, so they always start appearing to that other person like that. That's why this mind control shit they do. And I don't like talking about this, but they do that. They start gossiping about somebody, like if you get to be a targeted individual or a gang stalker or something, they'll start talking shit about you, and then everybody starts listening to you as that, even though that's not even true. So you could actually destroy everybody's listening of a person just by talking shit. So knock it off. Anyway, that's black magic, by the way. And black magicians, they got to deal with this shit too. They got to go through this stuff too, because all the black magician is somebody who's not awake, is just thinking random thoughts all through the day, not even caring or not even realizing what the power of their thoughts and words are, or actions. And so, hey, I'm just telling you, there's some of us here from the future, and some of us we were actually made for torture, and we know what to do to get out of it, because we can just quantum leap into a different reality. And so, don't be surprised if we show up. Yeah, show up right there. Since I do believe that there is mind control, and there's a lot of people that don't even realize what they're doing, and it's just listening in their head, and they do stupid shit like chase people around and stuff. That's nonsense, and but it's been happening for a long time. It's been happening for a long time and it's just the desperation because the 3D's it's gone. 3D's gone. That grid has collapsed. And so we got to get out of our lower chakras and start raising our frequency up to the higher chakras, get into the heart. And the heart is where the magic happens. And anyway, about going to silent knowledge, take 10, 15 minutes a day or for a week or so and just stop and listen to what you're actually listening to. And if you do that and you get a notebook, start writing stuff down, you'll notice there's some patterns there, and like I got to do this, I got to do that. This is this way, this is that way, and so what you're doing is you actually even make like a rock. This is look at that cool Andara I picked up in South Dakota, I think it was. Look at that. South Dakota is amazing. That's an amazing place. Black Forest is amazing, and that's where it has little clouds in it. It's a beautiful piece. And then I found this on the other day. This actually came to me from the ocean. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? It came right out of the ocean, right there, and landed by my feet when I was walking on the beach. That's kind of cool when stuff like that starts happening. And once you start doing the great work, you'll have these phoenix cycles too, and they're crazy. But what was I going to talk about? Silent knowledge. Oh yeah, the already always listening. It's always in the listening. And what are you listening to? Like, are you listening to, what somebody said about somebody else, or are you listening to what your mom told you, or how you're supposed to be, or how you're supposed to act, and why aren't you not so nice? Blah 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 blah. It just goes on and goes on. It's our social conditioning. And it gets us stuck in a bubble. And what we want to do is we want to clear our tonal and sort everything over to the right side over here. And this is the side we're going to, it's hard to explain. Let's just talk about silent knowledge this moment. Because if you can't see that you're in a bubble, then you're not going to realize it. But really, we're creating. It's our voice that tells us. Because all we have done is agree that this is a lighter. That's what makes this a lighter. It's literally. I mean, science has proven that there's nothing here. It's literally just atoms, and there's just nothing but space between the atoms. And even when they go look inside the atom, there's nothing but space in there. So that's where the sorcerer deals with, is the space in between things. That's what makes it so powerful, and that's where your higher self comes in, because literally in the infinite, there is no time, there is no space, and so anything is possible because it's in the infinite, and you can get knowledge from the future and you can get knowledge from the past. Because there is no time. It's all happening now. Which brings me to a point that I've been wondering. Everybody's talking about past lives, but really, do we have them, or are they just happening now? So that's another thing. Is it just because your higher self is an infinite being in the infinite and lives for eternity. Can incarnate at any time in the future or the past. Is it just your higher self fractalizing himself into other incarnations, and then the memories come from your higher self, and that's what we call a past life. When it's actually not, it's just your higher self incarnating now into a past time frame that we understand in linear time here. And there's nothing going to be linear anymore. It's not happening like that. Just quit thinking linear. It's quantum. So we got to explore the quantum field now. It's the second attention we're rolling into. So this is wild. This is a great thing. And so silent knowledge, but some of you might be saying, oh, well, I don't know what voice you're talking about. We'll just be quiet for a second. It's that little voice saying, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. What little voice do I have? I don't have any little voice. It's that one. Yeah, that's the voice. That's the foreign mind rattling around, just telling you what to do all the time and how things are and how things should be. Once you learn to stop and go silent, you stop the world, and then you'll notice that you're actually floating. You're actually a universe floating, and you're actually in a starship if you build the light body, and you can actually travel in it. So it gets kind of wild, and I'm not just making this stuff up. It's happening, and it's happening to everybody. So just some people are aware of it, and some people have gone faster than others, just so it can be here for you when you go through it as well. So I'm just telling you, what I see happening is the Earth has already ascended. It happened back not this last, what do you call them, eclipse, that one in 2017. That's when it happened. Then it got really crazy for me, and us got crazy. And we'll go into that a little more, but I want you to notice also how to capture the silence is once you hear that voice and you're listening to what you're always listening to, you're already always listening, you'll notice in between the conversations there's a little period of silence. What we want to do is try to expand that silence and keep on working on expanding it until we can, because what will happen is once you start observing your already always listening voice that's always talking, this foreign mind that's rattling around telling you how you should be, it's the social conditioning, the mind control, whatever you want to call it. What happens is once you start observing it, it starts to shut up, and we can get little periods of silence, and we can expand them into larger periods, and what happens is the warrior will work on expanding in silence, and there's a threshold, and it's different for everybody, but there's a threshold of silence, and at some certain point in that silence, it's almost like you've taken hallucinogens. You're tripping. Because the world stops, and it doesn't. It's not anymore what it appears. It's not what it appears to be. We are in a magical place where anything is possible, and you're way more powerful than you ever thought. And so, I want to talk a little bit about this because this could be scary to some people. The hallucinogens are scary. I mean, I had to take power plants to break out of my bubble, because it's just my assemblage point, what they call the assemblage point, was so stuck in it's where the place is. The assemblage point is where perception is assembled, and what it does is it connects with. It's all about energy. It connects with energy fields outside as to where it's hard to explain. It just connects to whatever's connecting in here, connects to that outside, and you manifest it. That's what happens. It puts it together. And it's also about your intent. So if your intent is to be, an asshole, I guess that's what's going to happen. So I don't know. Look, I don't know anything. I'm just relaying what I'm experiencing. And so I've been going to silence, and things have been getting kind of crazy, and I've been going into the dream and actually find I do have a mentor, and she teaches me how to travel, and it's getting quite cool, and she teaches me how to get a higher connection with my higher self, because that's the most important thing you can get, because that's the dude who's going to teach you the most, because he's my double is in eternity. He knows there's infinite amount of knowledge there. He's already seen the third attention, so just know that once you're constantly listening to those programs, it takes work. This is not, look, it's not cakewalk. You're gonna have to do a little work, and it takes some time, because these programs have been embedded into us since birth, and right at birth they were telling us, it's describing the world to us, and it wasn't until we got about 7 or 8 when we started. Isn't that funny? That's when the religions baptize you, is at 8 years old into their church. That's when you start. You start going into the collectives. I don't know. Hey, that's Chewy. Chewy gets excited when somebody walks by. That's okay. That's what his job is. So everybody knows not to jump this fence. And right now I'm down here in Mexico, and I'm on the beach, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful sunset right now. And I don't know where I was. I wrote stuff down to talk about, and then I don't know where I can't read my own writing sometimes. So anyway, I hope you forgive me for that. I'm just going to start talking. So I've noticed that if you anchor into that silence and then start expanding it, there comes a point, there's a threshold for every person. Every person's different. Some are less and some are more. When you anchor so much silent knowledge and so much time, it adds up. And then at some point, you actually can stop the world, and then things start changing. And you actually start gaining energy and power. And your personal power started getting better, which is your light body. You start building your light body. You start building your fragments and stuff start coming back. You start remembering. So you're remembering your pieces and parts of all your fragmented self. That's why we do the recapitulation. So I'm not alone. I have friends on this journey, so that's nice, because sometimes you do end up alone on this journey, because I have Scooch and I have Chewy, and it's kind of like the Rocky and Bullwinkle show, and I've got my wife and my kids, and they're my largest contracts, so I stay here and fulfill my contracts with them for sure. But we want to go to silent knowledge and silence. This is the biggest and tool I could ever give to you. This is going to silence. Look, that even has this little speck of red in it. Isn't that kind of cool? Can't remember where I found it. Yeah, it was South Dakota somewhere. I found that in South Dakota. Isn't that crazy? That was where Crazy Horse was up there. Crazy Horse was a giant. That's why, it was so hard to kill him. He's a giant. Anyway. Yeah, they haven't told you anything. Nothing is the truth out there. Come on, man. Wake up. They're not telling you the truth. When they lying, always. It's all mind control and bullshit to keep you under control. You're easier to control when you're a wretched slave to the system. And I'm just saying there's got to be a better way, and I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure out how to get everybody free along with myself. First I'm going to figure it out for myself, then I'm going to come spread the news. Because the warrior all he knows at the end is the only thing he has, he looks at death. All the warrior realizes all he has is his heart. And how can he leave all his brothers and sisters behind? So, anyway. Remember, we're in a bubble of perception, and this is not. It's not what I've been making up. The mystics and sages and stuff, they have been telling you this for a long time. Even Plato, he's telling you the shadows on the cave are not real. So you can sit there and look at the shadows on the cave, or you can walk out of the cave, and there is a way to walk out of it. So that's what we're going to start teaching you, how to get yourself out of this bubble of perception, so you start moving around like you're supposed to have been moving around. We're not supposed to be caught in some kind of reality like this. But the whole universe is ascending. It's not just us. It's not just Earth. Of course, we're going to think that because that's how we're brought up. We're the only center of the universe, and all there is me. And me. Let's just scrap it. It's we. We're here. We're ascending. Everybody is. So even the nasty ones, all the problems, they're going too. They've all been rehabilitated. You're on a rehabilitation ship right now. You're getting rehabilitated right as we speak. And if you're sitting here, I'm your captain to rehabilitate you. So listen up. Go to silent knowledge. Quit listening to the garbage going on in your head. It's causing problems, and it'll cause you to get old and sick and die. And so what we want to do is we want to listen to what we're actually listening to. And I know it takes some work, and it takes quite a long time, actually. It can take years and years and years. The recapitulation, you're supposed to recapitulate your entire life. Now, you don't have to sit there and go into a cave and do nothing but recapitulate like a banshee, in the forest on a rainy day and the cold wind and all that nonsense. No, you don't have to do all that. You can just notice what's coming up. You don't have to wait for it to manifest into reality either, because if you're waiting for it to manifest in reality, then you're not catching it fast enough. So you got to become aware of what you're doing, and you can cancel it out. You can it's with your intent. Just cancel it out with your intent, and your higher self will help you with this. You've got multiple. It's a multidimensional reality, so you've got multidimensional beings that are you, that'll come and help you out. They are your teams and technicians. They will come down and help you out, and you can help them out. So it goes both ways. Remember, you're not in this alone. You've got another family, and it's sitting there right next to you. You just haven't seen them yet. So it gets wild when you're flying, and you're flying over cities. And I know it sounds crazy and everything, but what's crazier? Sitting and going to work your entire life, paying for a house you can't afford, a car that drives you to work so you can pay for the car or the house, and then at the end of it, when you're too old to do anything else, and you're close to death, that's your payoff? That's crazy. That's literally insane. We are in the nut house, and the psychopaths are running the show. That's what's been happening here, and you need to realize it and wake the flip up. Because I'm just, I can't stomach it anymore. I've sat there and I've gone through it and sat there and witnessed all this stuff just so I could clear the distortions. I've been clearing distortions. I'm Indigo Type 1. I've been clearing distortions and putting a fucking monkey wrench in the system since I was born. And as soon as they tried to baptize me, it was hard to baptize me because my feet kept on sticking up and stuff. I wouldn't get baptized, so whatever. I guess I'm the naughty one or whatever. Send me to the shrink, dad or mom or whatever flip you want to do. I don't care. Or spank me and abuse me. That's all abuse, and it's all control. And it's not their problem because they were taught that, and it's not their fault. Nobody's fault. They were all it's just how we were taught. So we want to break these patterns and break this control, especially, controlling others. Narcissism was running rampant in our society. And everybody's got to get the better house, and the bigger house, and the better car, and it's got to be spotless all the time, and all this bullshit. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not even real anyway. Think about it. Shit's not even real. Wait till you see the real stuff. See what you can do with this hand in the quantum field in your intent. And then we'll talk. Yeah, you come visit me in the quantum field and I'll go show you some shit, boy. So what you want to do is get the silent knowledge. You want to get the silence. And then everything will change. It's a game changer. I promise you that. Anyway, I just wanted to rant a little bit on the video. And I appreciate you guys watching it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe. We're going to be talking about how you get there and how you do things. I just got to get a little more organized. I don't know how to edit videos. I don't know how to do anything anymore. I used to know how to do lots of this stuff, and they started improving technology so fast that nobody can do anything. That's part of I think that's part of the AI system. They want to keep you so busy all the time trying to figure shit out that you can't take time on yourself. So, you got to watch it. And maybe that's just one of my beliefs that I've got to bust through. So, you got to be careful what you listen to, Am I just listening to that? Because in reality, I'm just a universe. I can just create it happening anywhere. I can do it in my sleep. And maybe somebody will come show up and just do it for me. You never know. It can happen just like that. There's 8 billion people. Somebody knows how to do the internet stuff just fine. Apparently, a lot of people do because they're barking at Scooch. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for watching. It's been a real pleasure to be here with you. So we'll talk to you later.